So in this episode, we're going to talk about my first impressions for Predator Hunting Ground during the free play weekend. But before we begin, I want to let you all know that I'm doing a contest. Yes, that's right, I'm giving away copies of Predator Hunting Grounds. The link to that contest is down in the description below. Now with all that said, let's start talking about my first impressions. So right off the bat, the game had a huge learning curve. Because when you're the lower level Predator, you don't really have anything. You barely have no weapons. So it makes it a lot harder. However, you're also playing against people who have a lower level soldier, so they barely have any good weapons as well, which made it kind of balanced and allowed you to level up on the same playing field. However, after the course of 2 days, everybody was leveled up to 25. Everybody had all these weapons, and if you had started on day 2, you were pretty much screwed because all the soldiers had grenade launchers, or the Predator had all of his weapons, such as the bows, the bear traps, all that great stuff. So either way, you're pretty much screwed at that point, which kind of brings me to when the game comes out, you better start leveling up on day 1, because unless there's some great algorithm for public play where they're going to keep you within 5 ranks, no matter where you are. If you're level 1, it maxes out at 5. If you're at 5, it maxes out at 10, and so on. All the way up to 100, I'm assuming, is where it's going to end up starting at in the beginning as the max level. Now, if you don't do that, you're pretty much screwed is how I see it after playing for the free play weekend. Now, there was a lot of really cool stuff, some things they needed to change. However, the game is technically not done. It is like a finished product that basically needs to be polished up over the next couple weeks before they start putting it out on disc. However, keep in mind that at any point, because it is 2020, they can put updates up on the game later on. Friday the 13th did this a lot. Now, some of the things that I really liked about the game was the fact that you could kill the wild boars, eat them as the Predator, and actually get health. I thought that was a really cool and realistic way of implementing the Predator's health. And I also thought they did a great job of making the Predator as realistic to the movie as possible. The way his movement was, his cloaking, the way he attacked, all of it was pretty much dead on. Now, as far as the gameplay is concerned, the Predator is pretty much dead on and as realistic as possible to the actual movie. I thought his movement, his cloaking, the way he could attack was all perfect. I don't think he should be changed at all. Now, what I had a problem with was the soldiers' gameplay. The way they set it up, it was too much like Call of Duty. Right? You had a fast-paced movement, which didn't give time for strategy. It was a spray and pray. You had people doing speed runs because they could with that style gameplay, leaving their other teammates behind to die and creating less strategy and teamwork. Now, what they should have done is gone less Call of Duty and more Ghost Recon. And when I say that, I'm talking about Ghost Recon had a more slow style of playing. It was more realistic to war. If you've ever played Ghost Recon back from 2001, 2002, back when Xbox Live first came out, it was probably one of the most realistic style war games I've ever played. It was very slow paced. It required a lot of strategy. If you left your teammate, you got picked off. It didn't matter if it was AI or humans playing you multiplayer. You would get your ass kicked if you didn't work as a team, and everything just felt smooth. It felt perfect. It wasn't just this Halo style jump spray and pray nonsense, and everything required a lot more strategy. I think they need to go back, play the old school Ghost Recon game from 2001, 2002, and then compare it to what they have now. I think if they did that and started making minor tweaks to slow the pace down and create a stronger style of gameplay, I think it not only would it make it harder for the Predator to kill you, I think what the developers need to do before the game comes out is go and get the 2001, 2002 Ghost Recon game, play it, and implement that style of gameplay into the Predator. Not only will it slow things down, create more strategy, I'm not talking about slow things down in the fact of running, keep the jumping, but you need to create a stronger gameplay, something more solid, not as loose as this was. This was very loose, very fast-paced, and it kind of messed up the whole gameplay, and it's going to screw it up in the long run. It's going to get very boring very fast, I think. However, if they implement the Ghost Recon from 2001, 2002 style gameplay, it's going to slow it down, create more strategy. It's also going to make it harder on the Predator to take you out because the guns would be a lot more smoother and everything would be a lot more strategic. It would also, again, create more longevity gameplay. You wouldn't get so boring because the more speed runs you can do in a game, the more boring and played out it gets. The faster it goes out. You can't get a game with longevity when you can conduct speed runs. It just doesn't happen. It gets played out, it gets boring. Okay, so I don't think any tweaking as far as balancing is concerned was an issue. All right, we're going to talk about that in another video, though. I'm not going to get into all that in this video. I'm just going to talk about my first impressions. So those are some things that I liked and didn't like. People were talking about the grenade launcher. I really like the grenade launcher. I know a lot of people are talking about, oh, it's not realistic. It should bounce and take time. No, that's not how it works. That's a hand grenade. In real life, a grenade launcher, when you fire it, the grenades explode on impact. Yes, they are designed to explode on impact. You're confusing grenades and a grenade launcher with a hand grenade. Those are two completely different things with two completely different designs. They don't need to change it. What needs to be worked on is everybody's skill level, because everybody has a different skill level. So it has nothing to do with a Predator being too powerful just because he's really good, because everybody who plays the Predator is not really good. You're playing against people who are too good for you, and you need to up your skill level to match them. There's another game out there where everybody always complains about balancing issues because they think for some reason that somebody as strong as Jason or somebody as strong as the Predator should be just as strong on the same level as a human. No, it should not be like that at all. And if you had a problem killing the Predator, then you need to up your skill level. When I played as the Predator, I can wipe all the soldiers out in a matter of like 2 minutes. All right, by the time it was done, the last like 6 hours of gameplay, that's how long it took me. About 2 minutes to wipe everybody out, to the point that these people were hiding in an airplane because they wouldn't even try to complete the missions anymore because I was wiping them out too quickly. That's a skill level set. That doesn't mean everybody can do that. You have to get that good by playing repetitively over and over and over again, but also have the skill level set and create a strategy to do so. Now, there's a lot of really cool things. We have the self-destruct mode, which is just incredible. I love that. Now, one thing I noticed is that there's a lot of comments regarding self-destruct. They think that if you self-destruct, you automatically lose. No, that's not how it works. Sometimes a mentality is not as simple as alive is a win, dead is a loss. Because the Predator's job is to kill you. That's the reason why when he uses self-destruct in the movie, he laughs. Because he knows even though he's committing suicide, he's going to kill people, and that is a win. When you self-sacrifice to kill people for the greater good, that is a win. And in the Predator's mind, killing these humans is the greater good. Now, if you use self-destruct and don't kill anybody, yeah, then you lose. But if you kill somebody, regardless if you're killing somebody with his staff or other weapons, or you kill multiple people and then kill nobody with self-destruct, then you still kind of won because you killed those couple of people. But if you don't kill anybody the whole game and you self-destruct and still kill nobody, that is a loss. Self-destruct does not automatically equal loss because you're committing suicide to kill people for your personal greater good, I should say, the Predator's greater good, right? So again, if you self-destruct and kill some people, you win. Now, if somebody still survives after all that, then that one person won, but you still killed 3 of them, so you still had a just victory. And yes, I know some people wanted to hear some voices, such as Arnold, the Predator, etc. You are going to get those from what I've heard. They will be in the final game. Because if you notice in that voice wheel, you'll see him say, "Get to the chopper," but it's somebody else's voice. And I'm assuming that has more to do with royalties and this being a free gameplay weekend, or they just wanted to surprise you in the end by cleaning it up and putting it in there in the overall game. Now, as far as the weapons are concerned, I think the machine gun was very realistic. I know a lot of people hate it because it takes a long time to spool up, but realistically, those guns do take a long time to spool up before they rapid fire. Now, that gun is actually included in the deluxe package, so you'll actually be able to use that on day one if you pre-order the deluxe package. Now, personally, I like the grenade launcher a lot more. I thought it was a lot stronger, a lot better. When you could actually come up with a strategy to use it, it was very effective. And I actually think they need to pull that gun out of the package and put the grenade launcher in there. But moving on from that over to the Predator, I think the Predator had a lot of very accurate weapons. If you use them correctly, they were incredible, such again as his staff. If you lined that thing up and threw it into somebody full blast, it killed them. Right there, it was done. It was so perfect. It was so nice to use. Then you had the disc, which of course, if you were inverted the disc. If you were inverted in the gameplay like I am, I'm a very inverted person when it comes to playing games. It made the disc normal. So up was up, down is down. I think that was perfect because something like that should be a little bit harder to control, because if it was perfect, people would just keep throwing the disc, picking it up, throwing the disc, picking it up, throwing the disc. You should have to get used to the opposite, such as if you have inverted on, then it should be non-inverted and vice versa, because otherwise it would just be too easy. So I did like what they did with that. And then we had the PC version. Now the PC version was not as rough as the PS4 because the PS4 was very rough. All right, you had the gameplay was not smooth. The controllers didn't work all the time, such as trying to mark things in the tree, which was another brilliant thing. I love marking things in the tree. But it didn't work all the time on PS4, and I'm assuming that's because of the limited availability of the RAM and the graphic card and things like that. I think they were trying to do too much, such as creating an atom bomb for the self-destruct in the middle of the map. The PC worked flawlessly. You didn't really see much. It was more of just a change of colors, but the explosion did happen on the map. And when you do it on the PS4, I don't think that the RAM was working correctly. I think they have some coding issues with the RAM because it would freeze every single time. But again, we're talking about comparing an RTX 2080. So I'm not trying to create an unbiased, because the PC that I built is 20 to 30 times better than a console, even better than the PS5. So we're not going to get into the bias and unbiased of that. But it did play better. We did have different maps, so variety is there. And when you do play these other two maps, such as I did, I'll put these in a video. We'll be talking about these in the next video as far as things that they could work on and change and what they don't need to change. But the variety is there. All right, these maps were really well done. And if you all want to see these maps, just solid video gameplay of those maps with me not talking, let me know down in the comment section below. I will put those two maps out, but the PC had that. And there was a lot of variety there. You have different missions. I thought that was a nice change up. I also think having the option to have different starting points on each map, which also creates different objectives, is a great way to utilize one map and keep it fresh. But again, the gameplay is going to ruin the longevity for the soldiers. They need to tweak that a lot. All right, quit going Call of Duty and go more Ghost Recon. And again, I also think they need to implement the city-style map. If you want to know more about that, go click that link right there. But with all that said, what your thoughts are and what your first impressions were of this game, down in the comment section below. And also, again, don't forget I'm going copies of Predator Hunting Grounds. The link to that contest is down in the description below as well. And if you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit notification box. If you don't, you know if I have kick-ass shit such as this. And be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Because more if likes on this video, get you another Predator Hunting Grounds video on this channel. Also, don't forget, merch link down in the description below. Eat, sleep, /tweet, the 4 essentials for any horror fan. And of course, if you're a Predator fan, that works out just the same for you as well. And don't forget to join the Discord, because that's where I have a kick-ass time in there. And as always, I'll see you next time. Kill you. I also think it would make it more fun and give it the game a lot. And give it the game and give it the game now. Give it a game, give it a game, give it a game now. I don't know, I'm jumping back into the fucking like 80s rap and shit. Holy shit. No one knows where that came from. Give it a game now. Give it away, give it away, give it the game now. Jesus.